Thank you, Minister. On December 7th, you told this committee that Canada had quadrupled its artillery shell order and that those shells would be delivered the following year, 2024. On April 15th, I asked you when this commitment to quadruple the ammunition order would be fulfilled. You didn't answer the question, so I'll ask again, on what date will Canada take delivery of the additional production of 155 millimeter shells, particularly the M795 variant?
Yeah, I recently went to the factory to talk to them about the delivery of existing orders, but we also talked, I think very importantly, those factories in Canada, and I've met with them all now, and one of the things they told us is that they needed to increase their production lines. They needed to secure...
You had a chance to answer this question in April and you didn't. Can you answer it now today? On what date? If you don't know, just say you don't know and we'll move on.
With great respect, and it doesn't matter how simply you ask the question, it doesn't make it a simple question.
But you gave me a simple answer. You said it was going to be this year, so we're already in May.
Well, but again, the delivery of munitions from those factories is limited by their production capabilities. We have come through in the DPU and in this budget, which I'm hoping you'll get an opportunity to vote for.
Okay, so I'll take that. I take that you don't have a date. You don't have a date, so we'll move on.
And we now have money in the budget.
Okay, thank you, Minister.
To offer
on what date will Canada
to acquire those munitions?
On what date will Canada acquire ground-based air defenses to defend critical infrastructure, including our own troops in Latvia?
And first of all, a contract was signed for the troops in Latvia for ground-based air defense systems. That contract was signed about 5 months ago, and they will be delivered when we ramp up to brigade. I'm told the delivery schedule, and perhaps it's a question that our officials might be able to answer and give you a more precise date, but I'm assured that that capability will be delivered when we go to brigade strength in 2026.
Okay, so your predecessor misled Canadians and said 14 months ago that an air defense system was en route to Ukraine, and now you've earlier in your testimony today admitted that it is part of a back order of a production order.
I missed your question. I thought you were talking the air defense systems, that the ground-to-air air defense systems for Latvia, and then you brought up because
Minister,
issue.
You have a credibility problem. Your government has a credibility problem when you announce delivery or announce that something has been acquired. You had already announced in the case of the defense system that we were procuring for Ukraine 14 months ago, you said it was your predecessor said it was en route. But your testimony today is, and we know that it is not even produced yet. So can you give us a date on which Canada is going to acquire the vital ground defense system for our troops in Latvia and other critical infrastructure?
Well, and with respect to Latvia, the contracts are signed, and those munitions are now in production. We have been provided with a delivery date which coincides with us ramping up to brigade strength in 2026. There are other munitions, by the way, and other contracts that we've signed for anti-tank missiles and anti-drone systems, but the ground-to-air missile defense, the contract is signed, and the delivery schedule for those munitions is scheduled for 2026.
Okay, thank you. Your DPU talks about exploring options for modernizing our artillery. Assuming that the NDP allows these estimates to pass, on what date will Canada receive expanded artillery platforms?
I think I can assume that you and members of your party will not vote for any defense spending, because your record speaks for itself. Deeds speak.
For this government, we will vote non-confidence in this government at every opportunity.
And therefore, we've introduced a budget that actually provides industry with exactly what they said they required from us: investment in production and the money that provided the certainty of long-term contracts. Once this budget passed, we have already begun the process, and we will enter into those negotiations with our Canadian industries. That'll create Canadian jobs, it'll increase Canadian production, and it will deliver for the Canadian Armed Forces the munitions that they need.
Your DPU says you will explore. I support getting the troops the kit that they need, Minister, and I'd like to know if these estimates contain any certainty around or a date or funding authorization for the replacement and modernization of our artillery.
30 seconds or less, please.
Yeah, there's money here and in the upcoming budget that we've presented. The dates will be determined as quickly as we can pass that. And so, again, although I know you're not going to vote for it, if you could just get out of the way and let us bring that forward, then we'll get it passed.
All right.
Are a critical part of maritime defense. Is there anything in these estimates to replace our 40-year-old submarines?
No, because, and perhaps I was unclear, but when we said we had some work to do with respect to submarines, we need submarines. We've got to replace the Victoria-class fleet. They're old, they're unserviceable, they can't do the job. So we've got work to do to replace them.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
And that work is underway.
Thank you, Minister.